Hey everybody, it's Big Anklevich here. I'm a podcaster and an author and a toy enthusiast. Some people love cats, but me, I love dogs. We're talking bounty hunters today on Big Anklevich on Toys.
I'm the dog, the bounty hunter.
Like many Star Wars fans, I love the bounty hunters. I've thought they were cool since before I knew what a bounty hunter was. In recent years, we've been introduced to a real-life bounty hunter called Dog, who had his own reality show. It's like Brian Bosworth got stuck in that blast from the past bomb shelter and just emerged into modern society without ever realizing the 80s ended. Bet you expected to go the rest of your life without ever hearing another reference to Blast from the past? You're welcome. Because of Dog's show, the prestige of Star Wars bounty hunters has taken a hit. But they're toughing it out. I think they're going to weather the storm. 3 of my favorite Star Wars characters were bounty hunters introduced to us in Empire Strikes Back. This video is not about them. This video, even though it's part 1, is about the B-Team, the backups, the benchwarmers, the JV. The Star Wars Black Series Boba Fett, Bossk, and IG-88 came out a while ago, back in 2013 through 2015. I wasn't collecting as heavily back then, so I didn't check the stores as often as I do now. But I still hit a Target at least once a week, and a Walmart even more often. And I don't think I ever even saw them on the shelf one time. I missed them, but I figured it was okay. I was going to limit my Black Series consumption to the main characters only. Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, R2, and 3PO. That would be plenty. And for years, I was fine with that. I sure wasn't going to go chasing the bounty hunters on eBay and pay the exorbitant prices they were selling for. They released a 4 LOM this past summer, and I didn't even look for him. People talked about the upcoming releases of Zuckuss and Dengar and how cool it would be to have all the bounty hunters complete. And I just thought, yeah, that's nice. Then I found out that Hasbro had decided to re-release Boba Fett, Bossk, and IG-88 again in what they were going to call their archive line. I guess they got tired of all that sweet, sweet cash going to the eBay resellers when they had the figure molds right there in their cupboards and could easily take that cash for themselves. Hearing that I could get a hold of these figures at a reasonable price changed my entire mindset. All of a sudden, I had a new set that I wanted to acquire. I needed to get going with those B-teamers so that I would be ready when the A-team arrived.
If you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-team.
The first one I got was Zuckuss. I would have been way too late to get him if Toys R Us hadn't gone belly up earlier in the year. The Toys R Us exclusive figure never made it to stores, so Hasbro switched it over to be a Disney Store exclusive instead. When I heard that he'd been spotted there by people online, I went to the Galleria Mall on the way to work. One of those ridiculously oversized malls that exist here and there around the world. Sure enough, there he was. I went up to the register, and after paying full price, which was $25, not the regular $20, the store clerk gave me a coupon saying, "We're having a sale tomorrow, and everything's going to be 25% off." Oh, really? That's nice. That information would have been helpful 1 minute ago before I paid for this guy. I decided I would come back the next day, return Zuckuss, and then turn around and immediately rebuy him for 25% off. Kind of an a-hole move, but that's like $6. I ain't gonna scoff at $6. My own incompetence ruined my plan, however, despite keeping the receipt, the coupon, and the figure in my car and never taking them out. When I went to the car the next day, only the figure and the coupon remained. Would they have taken it back without the receipt? Possibly. But I didn't want to take the lengthy trip to the Galleria, brave the always full to overflowing parking lot, only to have it go badly, so I just decided to deal with it. Fun fact for you, I went to the Galleria Mall this week to get B-roll for this video, and I drove around in the parking garage in circles for 15 minutes, and was completely unable to find a parking spot that wasn't valet or reserved. In the end, I finally just gave up and left, hence the video of the website instead. It took an act of fate for me to acquire 4 LOM. One night I came out of work to find my tire flat. The next morning, I took my car in to the Walmart tire guys to get it replaced. I wandered the store while I was waiting and found that they'd restocked their Black Series figures. Even though it was already an old wave, they'd gotten the box that included 4 LOM. I was 1/3 of the way to getting all the bounty hunters, 2/3 of the way to completing the B-Team. Now I was just waiting for the new wave of figures to come out that included Dengar. A week or two later, I stopped by Walmart for milk and eggs for the family. I check the toys every time I go because, you never know, right? It was late enough that they were stocking the store, and while I was standing there in front of the Marvel Legends, noting that nothing had changed since last time, an employee came around the corner and emptied a new box of Black Series onto the pegs. I waited just long enough for him to walk away, and then I pounced. There was Dengar, hot off the presses. Stiffguard Lando, too. I'll talk about him soon. Toy collecting often has a lot to do with fate, doesn't it? Am I the only one that finds stories like this to be fun? Well, judging by my subscriber numbers, I just might be. Anyway, here they are, the bounty hunting B-Team. Zuckuss is little. It's kind of surprising, but going back to look at shots from the movie, he really was that way. He's one of those robed characters that can never be done right. If Hasbro decides to go with plastic sculpted robes, then it totally inhibits the posing ability of the figure, and everybody hates it. However, if you choose to go with cloth robes, then it steals all the realistic nature from the figure, and everybody hates it. Put it in cloth robes, and now it's not an action figure, it's a doll. Cloth goods are almost impossible to pull off well. The robe doesn't hang down like a real robe would. Instead, it looks like the clothes your sister put on her Barbies. In this case, Hasbro did their level best. The robe is really nice looking with a nicely detailed pattern in the fabric. Pinning the robe down underneath this molded plastic alien apron thing was wise too, because you see less of the robe and more of the apron's cool detail instead. Though this apron thing makes it so you just plain can't look under the robe. What does the torso of Zuckuss look like? No idea. You can get a look at his legs, which look like any human's legs. Probably recycled from a different figure, I bet. Oh look, you can get his robe to fly up and stay like he's Marilyn Monroe standing over the subway grate.
Ooh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
So hot, Zuckuss. There's a surprising amount of detail and paintwork under the robe, though. His legs look good, and his arms have alien skin painted up as far as I could get the sleeve to pull back. The cloth robe does allow you better posability, but it just doesn't look realistic. You can see the inverted stitching in the sleeves, and it's more visible because the reverse side of the robe fabric is a white color that stands out pretty loudly. I wonder if I could fix it by coloring the inside with a marker or something. I'd be too afraid that the marker would bleed through though, so I guess I'll probably leave it as is. The detail of the sculpt and the paint on the head is remarkable. It's the best of what the Black Series has to offer, up there with the Gamorrean Guard. I guess it's easiest to paint alien beasts rather than humans, right Luke? Right. 4 LOM is up next. Oh wait, have I been saying it wrong this whole time? Is it 4 LOM or 4 LOM?
Now you can get this new 4 LOM action figure free.
4 LOM?
4 LOM.
Okay, 4 LOM. I've always said 4 LOM, but Kenner never gets the names wrong, so I guess I need to trust them.
Now you can get this new 4 LOM action figure.
4 LOM is up next, and it's no wonder that he's on the B-Team. Seriously, this is a protocol droid that is somehow self-willed and living as a bounty hunter? Maybe I could believe it if we didn't know another protocol droid really well, and could plainly see that he is completely unable to do anything so active as chase down a mark and subdue him. I don't really understand 4 LOM, or IG-88 for that matter. In the Star Wars universe, so far, mind you, not including the retcon from Solo where droids are willing and able to carry out an uprising. Oh, or K2SO in Rogue One. He seemed pretty capable. Oh crap, or the battle droids and the droidy cars in the prequels. Okay, in the Star Wars original trilogy universe, droids are pretty much just toaster ovens with wheels. They're walking computers with a little bit of personality, like Siri level stuff here, and that's it. So how does one of them become a bounty hunter? And if 4 LOM or IG-88 gets the bounty, what are they going to do with the money? Buy themselves a nice steak dinner at Sizzler? Take the check home to their wife and child? Use it to buy a Roomba to keep the rug clean in their apartment? And if they can be self-willed, what does that say of all our characters in the film who happily keep them as slaves all the same? Anyway, moral conundrums and my confusion aside, 4LOM is a pretty cool figure for what he is. He's got a great look with the iron gray color supplemented with the rust-colored wash in all of the grooves. The paint and sculpt on his head is really nice as well, with several colors used to gussy it up. Supposedly, 4LOM has a head that is made to look like the species known as Gans. Zuckuss is a Gand, and he and 4LOM are partners in their bounty hunting. You can tell by looking at this shot from the movie, right? See how they're standing so much closer together than the others? Sorry, I never got into the expanded universe. The Thrawn trilogy was as far as I ever took that. 4LOM's got a big gun that he can hold and even put his finger in the trigger. Hasbro even made improvements from the former protocol droid, C-3PO, that they'd released earlier, giving his elbows the ability to bend so that he can hold this great big gun. He's still got those rods that attach his upper arm to his lower arm, but there's a groove that allows the rod to slide up and down when the elbow bends. It was a necessary improvement to make a protocol droid into a bounty hunter. Unless, oh man, maybe that's what the deal is with Zuckuss. They're partners so that Zuckuss can do all the running and chasing and apprehending for 4LOM, and 4LOM can calculate the odds for Zuckuss. That'd be a great team. The last chump on the B-Team is everybody's favorite punching bag, Dengar. Dengar is ugly and paunchy. He's a pretty lame character. But can we really say he doesn't fit right in as a bounty hunter? Yeah, I think he's just fine. The funny thing is that his figure is probably the best of them all. He's the most substantial of them all. He's big and really solid, but doesn't cost an extra $5 like Zuckuss. He comes with a backpack as well, which makes him even larger and heavier. He also comes packed with 2 guns, a pistol that can fit into his holster, and a big rifle that looks awfully... Wait a minute. That gun is just the same exact gun that fellow B-Teamer 4LOM carries. Okay, that kind of sucks. Dengar is no longer the best of them all. He's demoted down to 6th string again. I know toy companies reuse parts all the time to save money and everything, but this seems kind of egregious. Most people who buy Dengar are doing so for the explicit purpose to pose him in line with 4LOM. Just slightly changing the color of the gun doesn't seem like enough to make that work. Maybe it was that way in the movie? I don't know. Those guns look similar but different to me. Anyway, not only is his gun the same, but his backpack is just plain too big and heavy. He has to stand bent over forward to balance the weight. I've only had him a little while, and I can't count the number of times I've come to my study in the morning to find that the figure has fallen over backwards again. Unless he's going out and having adventures Toy Story style while I'm asleep, and then just dropping where he stands when I come in. Dengar comes packed with triple the accessories as anyone else on the B-Team crew, while costing the same or cheaper, so he seems like a pretty good deal. His face, while ugly, is painted with that new technique that makes it really match the guy who played him in the film. And those super styling bandages really top off the ensemble. Wait, no, the freaking moccasins really top it off. I get it, man. Bounty hunting is hard work. Why do it in some horribly uncomfortable boots or prissy wingtip shoes? So there you have it. The bounty hunting B-Team. These are all really good figures. They represent what they're supposed to represent very well. What they represent are the freaks and geeks of the bounty hunting crew. Unless you're one of those completists that gets every single figure, no matter how insignificant, or you're like me and specifically assembling the 6 bounty hunters, then you don't need to bother getting them. But if you're going to bother, I'd say they're worth it. Go for it, man. And remember to hold on to your receipt and bring your coupon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. And also subscribe and click that bell for notifications. That would be awesome. If you like science fiction, fantasy, and horror tales, check out my podcast. It's called the Dunesteef Audio Fiction Magazine, and for the last 10 years, my co-host Rish Outfield and I have been presenting audio fiction stories that will definitely engage and entertain you when you're doing something that prohibits you from reading, but not from listening. Check the links in the description. And feel free to comment below. Who's your favorite bounty hunter? Do you prefer any member of the B-Team to any member of the A-Team? I'm curious if there's anyone who feels that way. Thanks, and see you next time on Big Anklevich on Toys.